So hello everyone, once again I'm here with a new class of geography, myself ABHIJITH, and please subscribe my channel Horario. So here we begin with the next chapter or next topics of our first chapter, that is season and time. Earlier we have discussed something regarding the four seasons and some of the reasons regarding how these seasons were taking place or occurrence of these seasons. So there were mainly four reasons which we have already discussed in one by one manner, which were the major reasons for all these kinds of seasons. So one of the thing was tiltness of our earth. Second one was the revolution of our earth. Then moving to parallelism of axis and apparent movement of the sun. These were the four reasons we have already seen in the previous classes. Now from this I want you to note one of the thing, that is apparent movement of the sun. That is going to be a crucial one in following topic. So once again I am telling you what is an apparent movement of the sun is. That is, we feel that sun is moving from north to south, then south to north. That is due to the tiltness of our axis and the revolution. These two things you have to keep in mind, because our next topic regarding the seasons, how these seasons or these types of things are being happening, it's due to the apparent movement of the sun itself. So you can see one picture behind me, that is about how the sun is being still there and we feel that there is a movement in sun, that is called an apparent movement. Apparent itself says that it's not visible by our clear eyes. So apparent movement is something which we feel that sun is moving from north or south of our earth. You can see how the earth is there and its south portion the sunrises are striking, and the same time when we feel it's coming back, then moving again down. At the time you can see sunrise is falling on the northern side, that is on the Tropic of Cancer. So let's start with a month where it is hitting straight away the middle, that is in March 21st, and it is coming back and moving. That's why I have written here 23. I will come back to 23 September again when you will understand. So while this concept you can see here, when the sun is at the center, that is hitting at the equator, that is a 0 degree, it's keeping its same time, the earth's both hemisphere will feel same amount of heatness and it will result in same amount of day as well as night. That's why it is being called as equinox. So that is the first concept, and it is due to the apparent movement of the sun. You have to understand that. Now moving from there, when is moving from March, you know what comes next? Yeah, March, April, May, June. So moving from March, we can feel that from June onwards the earth is moving there. There is a revolution, but we feel that due to that sun is moving on the north side, but really it is not moving like downward. No, it's revolving around the things. What we feel is, yes, due to that tiltness and this apparent movement, the sun is moving to the north of the earth. So at that time you can feel that Tropic of Cancer is felt the highest amount of heat. So what will be the condition of Tropic of Cancer? Yeah, at that time there will be higher amount of heat and summer will be felt by the Tropic of Cancer. And the same time you have to understand what will be the season in the Tropic of Capricorn. Yeah, it's opposite, that will be winter. From there again it is having a limit, that so as we have seen, if the sun's apparent movement having that, we feel that it is moving from here from March to June. When we moving, you can see there it's easily the Tropic of Cancer is having higher heatness and it will be having their summer. That is why it's called as summer solstice at the time June 21st, when we feel that sun is moving towards the north, that is up to Tropic of Cancer, not more than Tropic of Cancer. And at the same time, once it's reached here, it have an ending up to what it can go extent, then it will move again back to our original position, that is parallel to equator. That's why we have written here September 23. At that time also the equal halves of day and night is felt on earth. So that's why we are calling it as equinox. Then from there you can see again it's moving above. That earth is not moving like above and below. We feel so sun is moving apparently due to its tiltness in axis and its revolution. So these two things you have to keep in mind, that apparentness make us to feel like that sun is moving on the north and the south. And what extent it is? When it is moving to north, it is Tropic of Cancer. When it is moving to south, it is up to Tropic of Capricorn. So there you can see there Tropic of Capricorn after September 23 it is moving again above, and it feels December 22nd it feels winter solstice. That is known as, at that time, hemisphere of below, that south hemisphere or up to Tropic of Capricorn will feel the heatness of sun directly, and at that time our portion, that is on the northern hemisphere where we used to reside, that portion will feel what? Yes, it's winter. At that time the same thing you have to understand, and one side it is summer, other side it will be winter, and it have an order like spring, summer, autumn, winter. This cycle repeats like this in a manner of 365 days in a year. Likewise, you know how 365 days are being calculated. Sometimes it will be 366 in leap years, that is 4 years occurring once. That is a thing having about how this 365 days. Yes, it's about the revolution. When the earth completes its one revolution around the sun, it is being calculated as 1 year. Same time, same thing you have to understand. These are the major concepts about seasons, and these are the major 4 seasons in a order, that is first spring. Spring is a transition season, then summer, then autumn, that is also a transition season, then winter. These 4 seasons in a cyclic manner it occur as per our movement of these revolution, or we feel that apparent movement of sun is taking place. These are the major things because of which we feel all these conditions in our life. You may have seen the different features of these all seasons. Can you tell me what happens in spring? Yeah, spring is a season which is known for its blooming, its flowering, fruits are being ripened. You have vacations at that time, you go and pluck fruits and eat all those things. From there it's moving for summer, that is we are already written when it is coming. Yes, March to June. At that time you will feel June onwards you are back to your schools and all these conditions. That is summertime. From there it's moving again back. You have to think, you have to compare with your life what I am saying, it's similar or not. Then from there we are moving again back. So you can see there also a transition season comes. That is called as autumn, and it is preparing for winter. All the leaves are being shed, trees will look like without dresses, like it will be naked, and it will be having some trees will be so ripened red color. Why it's having red color? Yes, because it's connected to science. Photosynthesis is not taking place due to the loss of sunlight during these days. It's preparing here this time, that is September to December. At the time the sunlight in the northern hemisphere will be less, due to which it is being turning into yellowish or reddish color. That will look like awesome. You may have seen the pictures, all those things. So these are the things which we are really feeling, but we don't know what is the reason. So these are the reasons behind this. So these things you have to keep in mind, and we will move accordingly. Now about seasons, I think you understood what are the major seasons and its features, what are the reasons for the changes in the seasons on earth. Now here one more thing you have to understand. In traditional, our India is having 6 seasons instead of 4 seasons because of some features we are following. We are coming under Tropic of Cancer region here, that is called here, this region we are following in this region, we comes in Tropic of Cancer region. So that's why we are having some moderate or temperate seasons, not as such as it's being given. You may see most of the continents are coming above the equator. Some of the continents are only coming on equator or below equator. So that's the reason we feel more varieties of seasons. That is a temperate zone or moderate zone. Which one? Yeah. So temperate zone is the one zone which the seasons are effectively felt instead of tropical region. This is tropical region. Here it's not being felt as we can feel. Here two more regions are there, Arctic regions and Antarctic regions. That is near to our polar regions. Where one more thing you have to understand, have you heard a story which is being prescribed by S.K. Pottakkadan in his book, one travelogue about he was traveling to one of the polar region of Finland. In that he have prescribed a beautiful lines that when he was in the flight, at that time air hostess told him to take his time little bit back. Why should we change our time? We following all the same time. Why the time really changes? Whether there is a real change? Yes. So there is a change because of this rotation and not that due to revolution. Now we are coming back from seasons to the time. That is our next concept. So the story is all about how the time changes when we travel from one place to another place in our world itself. See, one single earth is there, and when you're moving from here to some other continent, it's obviously changing. So many things changes. That's why Japan feels first New Year, then we feels, then America feels. How different it is. So it's due to the rotation. Our earth is being rotating in a slow manner by which we have 24 hours. If this is the India or some, okay, I will take India here. You can see here India. If this is the India, it takes 24 hours back to hit sunlight. That's how we feel day and night there, and same time, that's how we are calculating our times also. Due to this rotation, in which direction the earth is rotating? Yes, it's west to east. That's why we feel that sun is rising on the east and wherever it is disappearing on the west. So in India, where it is being rising first? Yes, it's in Arunachal Pradesh, Kibatu. It's a small town. In that place only our sun is being rising first, and where it is sunset happens at the end, yeah, it's in Gujarat. It's known as Sir Creek. It's also a small village area. It's nearby. You can see there are a lot of clutches, or the temperate zone is being so that if you move to the Kutch area, it's being totally geographically different from other zones. So there is differences. The sunrise and sunset, you should remember, it's because the rotation of earth from west to east. That's why we feel it's rising in the east and setting on the west. So these all things having the major impact on time also. So how the thing or where the story begins, S.K. Pottakkadan, when he was traveling to Finland, that Finland, what is the feature of Finland? Why I told about Finland? Yeah, it's the land where you can see midnight sun. It's not sun like, it's not on the overhead. It will be like horizon sun. When you see at the sunset or sunrise, there is a slight rays of the sun. This will happen for 6 months. Think how beautiful it will be. And you may have heard about Horario borealis also. That also happens in these places. Please search that Horario borealis in the internet. You will see how beautiful pictures are those found in the polar regions due to this sun effect. It's not being created by the pictures of colors. It will be different colors, different varieties of things will be there. This is because of this sun effect on the horizon. That 6 months it will be feeling the day. The day means daylight will be there. It won't be the sun shining at the noon. No, it won't be like that. The same way it will be having the 6 month night also. No sun will come at the polar region. So this is the story where we begin about the study of the time, how the time changes when you travel from one place to another. And the time tells about how it has been calculated. May I know what is a major concept about calculation of time? Yes, it's mainly calculated on the basis of some or other imaginary line only. Yes, it's an imaginary line called as longitude, as it is latitude. Now longitude is coming like this. This is called longitude. And there are how many numbers of longitude? Yes, there are, as we know, there are 360 degree angular degrees of our earth is 360. There are likely our angles are also like that, 360 longitudinal lines are there on our earth. Depending upon that angular degree. What is angular degree? It is calculating any circumference or any angle on the basis of its curve. So according to that, our earth is also having 360 degree angular measure. So depending upon that, it's having 360 longitudinal lines. So how will you determine which is the middlemost? So there was a big discussions depending upon that, because here equator it is easy because it's obligated sphere. The middlemost portion which cuts it equally, we can take it. But when it comes to longitude, it's hard. So what after the discussions all said, okay, let's take that Britain is one of the most powerful country in that time. So let's take one thing. Let's take a place in the Britain itself, that is British Observatory System. There the place called as Greenwich line is being taken for our calculation of time. That was being considered as 0 degrees Celsius. Let me take it as 0 here. Okay, let me take that as 0. And from there, each degree to west or east, we will be calculating 1 degree or likewise. And depending upon that, we will fix the time also. So there are some concepts what you have to understand is, whenever there is a movement from 0 to 1 degree, that is whenever a degree is being changed. Let me draw an example to show you that. If this is the 0 degree, if I am draw here 1 degree to east and 1 degree to west, you can see there's a change in angular change, or a longitude is being changed. How we are calculating time, this is the major concept which you have to take in mind. This is the resultant which you have to get, that is 1 degree change will give you 4-minute change in the time. So how you are getting this? It's an easy concept. You know how many hours in a day we are having? Yes, it's 24 hours we are having in a day. How you have to convert it into? That is simple multiplication, that is 24 into 60 will give you the time, the minute into 1440 minutes. That is to revolve around the sun, we require this much minutes. So if you have to do in second, you can multiply it into 60 again, then you will get into seconds. Okay, then this whole portion, how we reach to this is being taken as you are taking that minute converted divided by the angular length of whole earth, that is 360. We are not taking here 365, we are not taking day, we are just taking the angular length. How much a circle's angular length, not circle, sphere's angular length is being there. So that is being taken and we get the resultant 4 minutes. So that is 1 degree change will have 4-minute change in our time. So whenever a longitude is being changed to 1 to 2, there is 4 minutes change. Whenever it is being changing to 2 to 4, how much change? 2 to 4, it will be 8 minutes. So likewise, so can you tell me how much will from 0 to 4? Yes, it will be depending on 16 minutes. So likewise, 1 hour will be how much? 15 degree will give 1 hour change. So it's easy to calculate all these concepts. So we will move ahead depending upon these calculations also. This is the thing what you have to understand. If there is a movement from 0 to 1, there will be change in 4 minutes. If I am at the degree 1, you are standing in the degree 2, how much? 8 minutes. Likewise, we have to understand what is our degree, what is our longitude. Why we are considering this longitude and latitude? Let me know that first. Yes. Whatever you are doing in the maps, Google Maps, you type a particular place name, they will show you the direction and the place. How they are finding? With the help of this longitudes and latitudes. They are exactly providing the location depending upon this north degree or east degree. Likewise, they are providing on the basis of these things. So here we are calculating time also on the basis of this. So time, as you have to understand, when it is 0, it is being considered as there is no change. Whenever there is a change in 1 degree or 2 degree, 1 degree it's 4 minutes. Likewise, can you tell me how much degree change will have 1 hour change? Yes, it will be 15 degree changes will lead to 1 hour change. Because as it's a simple calculation, mathematical calculation, if you multiply 15 into 4, it will give you 60 minutes. 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. So can you convert it into a proper minutes? So 24 into 60, can you give me a minutes? Yes, that is 24 into 60 is 1440 minutes. Why we are taking this? Because it's going to be helpful for you in coming classes. So remember that 24 hours is 1440 minutes. So depending upon these cases, now if we are traveling from one place to another, let me give you an example. Can you take, if we are in India, how we are have to calculate? There was then again big discussion. Many longitudes will be there in a place itself. So which longitude should be taken for the consideration of that country's time? In Russia, you know, its longitudinal difference is 160 degree. So such a huge change. It's nearly 160 degree means nearly 16 hours or 11 hours difference is there. 11 hours difference means if you are having here day, they will be having their evening there. 12, nearly 12 or 11 hours difference. So that much difference you can't take a common time. If you take here morning, how? No. So that will affect the administration, other purposes, traveling. Most of the cases will affect by that thing. So for that common, some of the nations are having more than one standard time. But India is not having such a huge variety of longitudinal difference from beginning for the Sir Creek of Gujarat to the Kibbetu. It's only having 29 degree. So that is from you may know 66 to its middle portion we have to take. So there it's being called the middle portion of India. You can see in the map there, it's 82.5 degree is being taken as the middle or the major time locating longitude for India, as it's having 29 degrees Celsius longitudinal difference starting from the other point from the next point, that is from Arunachal's to Gujarat. That is a width we are taking, longitudinal width. From there we are taking the middle portion, and it is crossing mostly the states Orissa and Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. All these states are being crossed by this longitudinal line. And as I have asked you the longitudinal line, can you tell me the latitudinal line which crosses India? Yes, it's Tropic of Cancer. Yes, it's Tropic of Cancer which crosses through India. So this thing you have to understand, where we have the longitudinal difference and which time we are following. Depending upon this, can you do a problem there? If you are in a 0 degree to 82.5 degree, how much time difference is there from India to this? Can you just calculate? Yes, just what you have to do, you have to find the difference there. What is the difference? 82.5 degrees is a difference. Then what you have to do there? Yes, I will show you the calculation there. Okay, from moving to Greenwich to India, you can see there India's what we can call the local time or the median time, standard time, or you can call as IST, Indian Standard Time, is being in the longitude 82.30 east. That longitude, if we have to calculate the difference or the time difference, or what is the time we have to change when we are moving from there to here, whether it will be reduction or addition, it will be addition. If you are moving from Britain to India, you have to rotate your watch towards the right, because you are going ahead, not back. So while we are traveling from here to America or Western countries, we have to always take our time back. We have to reduce that time. These are the things which you have to keep. So depending upon that, I have given a question to you, that is, if you are moving from 12 noon from Greenwich, what will be the time in India at that time, at the 12 in Greenwich? So the time, how you have to calculate, first of all you have to understand the longitude. There we are taking 0 degrees Celsius, here we are taking 82.30 east, that is the longitude length or the calculation or unit we are giving there. So you know how much an hour is having a longitudinal change, that is 15 degree is equal to 1 hour. If there is a change in here to 15 degree, it will be having 1 hour change, but it is 82.30 degree. So how many times you have to roughly calculate? It will be nearly 5 times. If you calculate, you will get 75 degree. So it will be 5 hours already there. Now how much more required to 75 to 82? 7.5 more required. So 7.3 more required. So if we take that 7.5, you already know if 15 is, it's 1 hour. What is the half of 15? 7.5. Take that half and add it here. So you will get 5.5 hours. So that is the thing, how you have to just put your logics there. We can easily find what is the time difference. That is from traveling from Greenwich at 12 noon. The time at India at that time, when it's 12 at the noon, it will be 5:30. I'm writing here, it will be 5:30 PM or AM. If it is noon there, here it will be ahead. So it is always PM. Yes. So that's how we have to understand. It will be PM because we are ahead than the Western countries. It's first nation which is having the sunrise also, which is ahead than us also, is Japan, the land of sunrise, that is known as Japan. So that's the thing which you have to understand. IST, the IST which we follow is 82.30 east. This is the IST which we follow. That's why I have taken this, not 66, not 97, because both are end. 66 is in Gujarat, 97 in the Arunachal Pradesh. So both of these difference mean we are taking, that mean is 82.30. That's why we are considering that time. So think how much difference will be there from Arunachal Pradesh to here. Can you just calculate in your mind? There is the difference of 29 degrees Celsius, not Celsius, sorry, 29 degree east. The change will be there. So tell me what will be the difference? How many hours difference? 29 means nearly 2 hours difference. It's not much difference. So if you are in Kibatu or in the Sir Creek, the difference between these 2 points will be 2 hours nearly, not total 2. Why? How I said 2? Because we all know 1 hour is 15 degree. Only 30 degrees being taken, nearly 30 degrees being taken. So here 2 hours, nearly 2 hours difference will be there if you are moving from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh. That's all. So that's why we are taking Indian Standard Time as the one in consideration that is passing through the middle. Why there will be some one only the time or the one standard time is being chosen? Yes, for the purpose of international one. If you have railways, think about if a rail is coming from northeast and it is ending at the Gujarat, the time will be so disordered that we won't able to identify the appropriate time. For that purpose and administration purpose, if some president or someone is addressing the gatherings or someone, if we are saying 5:30, somebody will already be on, they are making the TVs on from their 5:30. So it will be different. So for that we are following a common time for whole India, that is 82 degree longitude. That is the one thing which you have to understand, that is known as Indian Standard Time. And you may have noticed also sometimes in world clock, you may see in India we are writing GMT plus or minus 5:30. What is that? Plus or minus 5:30? Yeah, that is your difference from Greenwich, which we have already calculated. That is this GMT, Greenwich Meridian Time. That is what it's been given there. In many world clocks you may see easily GMT plus. Why plus or minus? Depending upon the direction you are moving. If you are moving to the west, it will be minus. If you are moving to the east, it will be plus. Likewise, we have to understand. That's why Indian standard time is being considered upon these all factors. Now moving from there to the next concept, from the time to the date. As you have seen, dates are also not similar. If you are having New Year, that is 31st December, if you are having here, what will be the case of America there? Whether they will be ahead or no, depending. So this is the next concept. Okay, now moving from the next last topic, that is a time to the date. If you are taking the globe there, you can see there is a date line being prescribed in that picture. You can see it's having, when you are moving from 0 degree to 180 degree, that is half of our globe, you will feel one red color line is there in our globe. I will show you that color line here. You can see here, this is the red color line which shows there the date line. So this red color line shows, you can see one deviation also. It's not like straight as our Greenwich. It's having some deviations. So what concern there is a deviation? What will be the reason for that deviation? All these concerns we are going to talk now. So it's all about the date confirmations. So think that if some of the islands you can see which are of same continents, because of their extension, if the line is being crossing through that, they will follow some other date. For that purpose, our international authority have discussed that these countries will be given exemptions and our line may be having slighter deviations. So this thing you have to understand, when you are moving from 0 to 180 degree, at that time we feel there is a division. That line, imaginary line, is being taken as for the reference of our dates. So one thing, it's a simple concept, don't be confused. There is a one whole column given in the side which you can do on the basis of the time and find out the date. But one thing you have to keep in mind, when you are completing 180 degree from one side or other side, whenever you are moving from west, you will lose one day, or you cross that line from east to west, you will lose one day, or if you are crossing the line from west to east, you will gain one day. Totally opposite to this thing. So if you are traveling from US to India, you will gain one day. Same time, it's opposite when you are moving from India to Europe or Western country. So this is the major concept you have to think. It's 180 degree we are taking, two equal halves, 180 degree we are taking, that is divided into date line, and date line is not straight as Greenwich. It is having deviation on the northern hemisphere as well as in the southern hemisphere also, due to some islands there in the Antarctica, or you can see in the Australia portion there are some deviations are there. So these are the things which you have to be clear with simple concepts. So I hope you will able to do this column which is being given for you. You see there the time is 10 in the Greenwich, and depending upon that you have to find the days. So you have to understand that whenever there is a 15 degree change, how much increase in the time? 1 hour. So up to that it is going and going and going, and when you are having 180 degree or 200, let me take 210 degree change, whether there will be change in the date or not when you are considering the time. So let me take when you are taking 200 degree, because we already have 360 degree total. So depending upon that, first of all you have to consider the time. So how much time it's coming? 75 we have already calculated, it is having 5 hours. So then again 150 if you take, 10 hours will come. So 150, more than 150. So it's having more than 12 hour changes. That is, it's having nearly 16 hours changes. So there will be a change in the time which leads to a change in the day also. Because AM and PM that you have to consider. If it is 11:59 PM, it is Friday. If it is changing to 12 12:01 a.m. it's being Saturday. Understood? So likewise, and if you are moving in the east side also, if you are moving from west to east, so what's the cases there? If you are moving from let me take 5 p.m. backwards, you are moving, and you will reach a time of a noon, then coming back at the night you will reach some 12 what a.m. or p.m. Yeah, it will be a.m. 12:01 a.m. and from just a slide back you will feel it is previous day, that is 11:50 p.m. it will be previous day. So these things you have to consider in a cyclic manner with using your logics. If the degree is being given to you, you will be able to first you have to calculate how many degrees are being given, that is 15 or 20 or whatever hours are being given from the degree. From there you have to calculate which side it is, east or west. If it is east, you have to add. If it is west, you have to subtract the time, and it is as easy as possible. So don't get confused, west minus east addition. So these are the concepts which we have to follow, and Indian Standard Time also you have to use. The frequent questions are being asked on basis of that lines, that is 82.30 degree east. From there, if you are calculating 2 or 3 degree above or west or east, what will be the difference? Okay, now we are moving to a calculation side. How if you are being given these all positions, like I am writing here A, B, C and D. If you are being given in an exam like this positions and you are being just given the degrees and some of the time is also being given to you. Depending upon that, how you are going to identify the time for each zone. So that's what we are having. We already know that is 24 time zones are there in our world, that is being divided whole into 24 time zones. So depending upon these 1, 2, 3 in east and 1, 2, 3 on the west, I have just drawn for your sake. Now depending this, how we will calculate. It's already being given here when you are moving 12 noon to 1 degree west, there is a reduction in time, that is 4 minutes is being subtracted. Okay, now from there again you are moving here, instead of A I am taking you to B. You can see here there is a 1 degree change, here again there is a 1 degree change. So 1 plus 1, 2 degree change is there, 2 degree west we are moving. So how much change? Total 8 minutes change will be there. So from here if you reduce 8, how much you will get? Yeah, it will be 48. 11, 48 will be the time. So as it's noon, it will be AM or PM? It will be AM. We are taking it as AM. So that's what you have to take care. In the other side, similarly you have to take the case. Here it is noon 12. When you are moving from here to here, you just, when you are moving to east, you are just adding 4 minutes there because of change in the degree. So now again here to D we are taking, not C. As we have done here, the similar case I am taking here. So already you may have understood 4 plus 4 will give you 8 minutes change here. So we will have to add 8 minutes, that is 2 here 8, how much? 12, 12. So it will be, the time will be 12, 12 AM or PM? Yeah, it will be PM. Well, so I hope you understood the case, how we have done the movement of time, how the time moves depending upon the angles. See how interesting the facts. On the lines we are setting our watches, which is imaginary. There is no real lines in our globe or on our earth. But all these are just facts made by human for our concern. In early historical periods, you may have seen how we are using the time to identify. We were just using the shadows to identify our time. By looking on the shadow, we prefer that it is noon. Noon it will be shorter, or we won't able to see our shadow. Most probably it will be here. But in evening it will be on west side or east side. Yeah, depending upon the sun's position, as we are having east to west, our shadow will be in the east because the sun will be on the west side. In the morning also the similar case, because the sun is the east, we will be having our shadow on the west side. So that's how we were having the time determines the historical periods. And one more thing, if you have noticed, in India there was an instrument. It's not an instrument, it was an what you can call it, a sculpture, not even sculpture, it's a monument, more than sculpture. It's a monument which is situated in Delhi. If you visit there, nowadays it's not able to identify time by using that. That is Jantar Mantar. That monument is used for calculating time in India. That is located in Delhi. Nowadays, because of the big cities and big buildings, it's not reaching the sunlight properly, and due to some distractions, it's not giving the same time as it was giving in the Akbar or Mughal period. So they have built such a thing. Think about that. And even the soil falling, this also have some scientific manner of calculating time. So all these are related to our scientific temper and scientific thinking. So this is the thing which we have to understand depending upon time. So your time is also important. So make your time efficient by doing more and more practices like this, and same time try to do the dateline problem also given there. Okay, so I hope you are getting the idea of these all concepts. We will meet again in the next class with a new concept, new ideologies. Until that, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.